Hello everyone and welcome to my first ever video for 2014. I'm really excited to make this video, but before I say anything about the video itself, I'd like to wish everyone a really happy new year. Hope you all had an awesome time. Mine was really good, had a couple of gigs, one New Year's Day, one New Year's Eve, stayed in the hotel. Yeah, it was really fun, really good. I enjoyed it, but we are gradually getting back to normality now, which is really nice. Christmas is all done and dusted, the tree is down, New Year has been and gone, and you know, it's January the 2nd tomorrow already. Oh no, it's January the 2nd today, isn't it? So yeah, pretty exciting. So I thought might as well just whip out the camera and make a completely normal video. So even though I say this video is completely normal, it is very special to me because I absolutely love making videos about my PowerMac G3. It's a wonderful little system, and my favourite type of video to make about it is definitely upgrade videos. Now in the past, I've maxed out the RAM, upgraded the graphics cards, reinstalled different operating systems a few times, and that's pretty much it. I can't really remember doing anything else to it. As soon as I got it, I slapped another 20 gig drive in it to give it 40 gigs of total space, one for OS 9 and one for OS 10. When I was using it as a bit of a server, as a little bit of a file storage kind of system, a very slow one at that, I used a FireWire 400 port and my external 750GB hard drive. But these days I just use it for fun, I use it for experimental stuff. It's a really nice system, I enjoy owning it. They're not worth anything, so it's not worth me selling it. So I never get tempted to sell it because they're literally worth about 30 quid. So I just kind of, when I get a little bit of spare money or when I see a deal, it's nice just to buy it, you know, a nice upgrade part, and just see the kind of performance difference we can get. Now then, in this video, we are going to install something that could potentially double the noticeable performance speed of this PowerMac, and I'm very interested to see how it's going to operate. Let me show you the components. Here we have the envelope. Now these are very hard to come by, especially in the UK. I bought one for my PowerPC Challenge and my PowerMac G4 upgrade. I bought one. No, I didn't. No, one got donated to me. I didn't buy one. I believe they're £70 brand new, but I found this one on eBay and I believe I won it for around £38. It's wrapped in the bubble wrap. But anyway, let me get it out. This is the Sonnet. Don't remember the model number, but the model number's not important. They're basically all the same thing. Sonnet SATA card. It's a 1.5 gigabit a second SATA card with 2 SATA ports on it. It goes into a standard PCI slot, so it works with the PowerMac G3 blue and white, PowerMac G4 all models, and early PowerMac G5s. So it's a nice card. This one came with the SATA cables. Like I say, I got a really good deal. SATA cables are really long, so that's nice. I don't need them that long, you know, the PowerMac, in the PowerMac G3, the SATA ports right next to the hard drive bays. But yeah, you may be thinking, you PC guys or you guys that aren't familiar with older Macs, why have I paid so much for a SATA card and why am I saying that they're so rare? Well, it's because there are only like 2 or 3 models that actually work with these older Macs. You can't just go out and buy a $5.99 or $6.99 random generic PCI SATA card and stick it in a PowerMac. It will not do anything. And if it does do anything, if your drive is detected in Disk Utility, it will probably allow you to format it. It'll allow you to put data on it, take data on and off as a storage drive. Great, nice. If you can find one that does that and that's all you want, fantastic. However, it will not let you boot from it. There are only 2 or 3 specific models that will allow you to boot from it. And I believe this Sonnet one is the newest one. They are still making it, I believe. It is still available, but it uses the identical chip to the previous card, which was the one I got in my PowerMac G4. It looks like the exact same card, it's just got a red PCB, and it's made by Siritech or something Tech, I'm not sure. There's 2 companies that are basically the same company that made that card, and they've made a lot of different Mac compatible expansion cards in the past. Some of them pretty damn extreme, especially for the PowerMac G5 with 4 SATA ports on them and stuff. But they're very expensive and hard to find. This is basically the easiest to find but still quite hard to find SATA card for these Macs. Now I've been talking quite a lot. Basically all I want to do is stick it in the Mac. Now of course this is SATA. The first revision of SATA, 1.5 gigabit a second, SATA revision 1. We've come on a long way since then. SATA 600 is a lot quicker, obviously. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 times the speed. But yeah, you can still get noticeable speed difference over the IDE interface with this card. A much noticeable speed increase. And of course that allows me to install SSDs. Even though all SSDs are SATA 3 or SATA 6 gigabit a second compatible, most of them can limit themselves to the earlier revisions of SATA. All of them can do SATA 2, I believe, and most of them can do SATA 1. So don't quote me on any of that, not too sure, not an expert, like I always say, I'm just a guy in my bedroom when I do this stuff for fun. But first things first, all I'm going to do is move the camera over to the screen, boot up the Power Mac G3, and we're going to test the disk speed with the existing built-in ATA interface and 20GB hard drive. So here is the Xbench score for my Power Mac G3, running with a standard 20GB hard drive. Can't remember what the hard drive is. This is the primary boot disk. It's not as old as the machine. I do have a very old hard disk in the machine running OS 9. That's the loud one that you may or may not be able to hear in the background. But this is the score for the hard drive that I have plugged into the standard IDE interface in this computer with Mac OS X on it. Now, something that you've got to remember about the Power Mac G3, like early models of the Power Mac G4, is it uses a very, very old revision of ATA. This is ATA revision 4, also known as ATA 33. And something like a Power Mac G4 mirror drive doors uses ATA 5, also known as ATA 66. So it's a much quicker interface. Still nowhere near as quick as SATA, 1.5 gigabit a second. But yeah, these are the results. Pretty damn interesting. I will run it again after the upgrade. So in the next clip, I guess I'll be dismantling my Power Mac G3 setup. Now, something I've got to do is get the machine out from its little hole. So first we'll shut it down. Shut down. It's going to be a little warm inside. We won't save the results, no, because we screenshotted them. Because I'm old school like that. Let's take some of this stuff off the top then. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way. The box for my Phenom's still in there. I've got to make a video about that. There's a long story to go with that. My parents' APU. Their A8 5600K. Wow. Nice speedy CPU. Well, nice speedy APU I put in their computer. Their computer's going really well, by the way. A couple of things here. Sony Walkman, Resident Evil for the GameCube. I do have my GameCube permanently attached to my computer setup, by the way, guys, for those of you who are interested. It's pretty much an ultimate GameCube setup. I always have a controller here. Next step is to go wireless with the controller, but I'll just keep all the leads safe here. I don't play a lot of GameCube now. I've been playing a few more PC games recently. Well, PC games on my Mac then, so Mac games I guess. A lot of older ones installed on my Power Mac G3. So I've got some more videos to make about that, but I'll just continue to unplug this system. Now, one cool thing about this Power Mac G3, as you've seen, I think I made a video about it. I know I definitely posted a picture to Instagram. I am now running dual displays. One via the VGA output on the 9200 and one via the DVI output on the 9200. And it copes with it extremely well. It's a very nice setup, I like it a lot. So, on the last connection now, just unscrewing the DVI, and we are free. Let me lift this machine out. This is going to be fairly heavy. I can chuck those, they are completely empty. Been there for ages. Okay, here we go. Quite a heavy machine. And there's some junk underneath as well. Whoops. Headphone splitter. Nice couple of handy things to keep in my bag. Right, that's the G3 out. Completely forgot how heavy that machine was. So this little section of my room used to be really tidy, but at the moment it's used to sort of store stuff that I'm currently working on. So a sort of example of that would be, I used my drive to back up my MacBook Pro before it went. This is the pile of 4 CDs that I need to rip to iTunes, whether I've lent them off people or people have bought them for me. Here are some forks. There is a story to these forks. Old hairbrush, don't know why that's there. A new 30-pin connector that I bought, I needed to buy one of those. Some batteries, always handy. The case for my server that I haven't built yet. Blue Snowball microphone that broke. It's waiting to see if it's in warranty. And then the rest of this stuff is just kind of junk. The stuff back here, there is a storage to that as well. That can go in the bin. A lot of this stuff can go in the bin. I'm having a bit of a tidy as I go actually, guys, because the mess has really piled up a little bit. Intel 3770K that I'm going to sell. 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance RAM. I'm going to sell it to buy 4770K, by the way. X1900 graphics card. A lot of this stuff will be going on eBay. But anyway, moving in a bit more. Random mini cold cathode. I believe in this box. Ooh, check this out, guys. Forgot I had this. GeForce 4 Titanium, 128 meg to go to PowerPC Mac. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Came with my MDD. Gorgeous card. Anyway, in here, I believe. Nope, that's random computer components. I am currently searching, you guys, for. Ooh, there's a graphics card in here as well. There's a CPU in there. Radeon HD 4870. Nice card. Let me see if you're in frame with all this. Yeah, just about. Okay. Anyway, there's an AMD Sempron in here. Or is it an AMD Opteron? I can't remember. Anyway, currently doing a bit of a hard drive hunt. Vitamin tablet. Optical drive cover. Probably gone into one of my Macs in the past. Yeah, this has definitely got the hard drives on it for two reasons. There's ID cables on top, and it's heavy, and check that out, it's full of drives. So let's ditch some of this other stuff in here. There's some RAM in here and stuff like that. And let's take a look at my hard drive collection and find an appropriate hard drive to put in this machine. So I'm just going to take a seat and get comfortable, and we're going to look through my hard drive collection. Let me turn the monitor around so I can kind of see what's going on. There we go. There we go. Anyway, these are 4 floppy drives. I used to save pretty much all my hardware when I was younger. These days I don't so much, and this box hasn't seen the light of day for a good couple of years. So as you guys saw, there was some laptop hard drives and some RAM on the surface. Now, if I pull out a random disk, I know that these thin ones are probably 20 or 40 gigabyte IDE drives made by Maxtor, and I am indeed correct. IDE. Now, obviously, we don't want those. I know that these two, or these 3, sorry, are all identical drives. They are 80 gigabyte Western Digital IDE drives. Okay, I had these come out of 3 free PCs that I got. Now then, a couple of drives that I'm not sure about. And for the ones we're not sure about, we're going to look. Actually, I'm sure about this one. I kept it because it was a nice drive to have at the time. This one is a 120 gigabyte Seagate IDE drive that I was going to put in my Power Mac. It's very scratched up on the side there because I had to tighten it into. There's a long story about how I had to get it into the case with a cooler. But yeah, here it is nevertheless. That should really go in the bin because it's broken. Coming along here we have, I believe these are my 250 gigabyte Maxtor drives. These are indeed set up currently, even though they're not in the system, they are indeed set. Ooh, actually no. Ooh, let's leave that one over here for a second. Okay, interesting. There's this one then, and then there's. Oh, okay, that's interesting. No, this is my. Oh, this is a random 80 gigabyte Maxtor IDE hard drive. Okay, that isn't one of my 250 gig drives. And then we have another Maxtor drive here, which is a 40 gig drive. It's one of these slim ones. So I do indeed have 3 of these slim Maxtor drives. One 40 gig, one 80 gig, and one Apple branded, don't know where the hell this came from, 40 gig. Apple branded 40 gig. No idea where that came from. Anyway, let's put them back along with this 80 gigabyte Maxtor. Now then, where's my two? Ah, here they are. I kept them nice in anti-static bags because these are fairly rare hard drives to come by. Here they are, both in anti-static bags. Here we have two 250GB IDE hard drives. Very nice, 500 gigs total. They are both currently set up in RAID 0. They're sitting here in two Western Digital identical anti-static bags because I got both my 1TB blacks in here. Oh no, one 1TB and one 2TB black in these bags. The one that I got with my 500GB Western Digital Caviar Blue is currently sitting in its original box with the drive in it because I took it out of my PC. So that isn't in this box, it's actually in its original cardboard box. But these are very nice drives, they're both working, they're in RAID 0, 500 gigs total. Great for a PowerPC Mac that does not have SATA and that supports more than 128 gig. Even though I do have the PCI interface that makes the 128 gig limit not a problem. Anyway, as I was taking stuff out of this box, I noticed this little baby. Now I was going to put this in the first computer that I built my parents. This is a Western Digital drive and it has a SATA interface. Now this is an old SATA Revision 1 drive, I believe, and it is an 80GB drive. Now this is a very possible candidate that I could use, and another advantage to this is I believe I can power it via Molex. If I pop this cap off somehow, I believe there is a Molex connector underneath it, because I know you can power it by SATA. Yeah, there you go, there's a Molex connector on that drive, okay? So that's a very high candidate. Only one downside to this drive, no idea if it works. No idea where I got it. Actually no, I do remember I got it in a car boot sale. It was in the random bottom of the box, and the PSU I used in my parents' first computer also. Other possibilities then, let's take a look at this Maxtor drive. What's going on here? IDE drive, 60GB. No, thank you. No idea why I've kept that in an anti-static bag. Normally I only keep drives that are important in an anti-static bag, so it may indeed have some kind of install on it. If someone remembers what install, then let me know. Opening this up then, we have a non-branded, I know exactly what this is, can't use this, even though it's a SATA drive, okay, here's the SATA interface. We have a non-branded SATA drive, which is extremely temperamental, hence the reason why I'm being careful with it. I'm going to put it straight back in the anti-static bag. It is a very temperamental drive that I have a lot of non-backed up important files on. I know, very stupid. I need to get this backed up straight away. I just have no space to store up 250 gigs of data. It's nearly full. Check that out, guys, I've got the pen on me now. It's nearly full of data. No space to back it up, but I really need to. So I'm just looking after it as much as I can until then. Anyway, let's put this 120 gig broken drive back in, just because I can't bring myself to chuck it away. We now have a gap in this box because we are gonna take this baby out. Hope it works. These aren't all of my SATA hard drives. I was just looking in this box. I could always go upstairs and rip one out of a PC, or hell, I could even erase my Western Digital Blue and put it in 500 gig, even though it's got my Steam folder on it, which I don't think is backed up, so I could kind of really do with keeping that actually. But anyway, let's move this box out of the way, get my PowerMac G3 up. Actually no, it's an oven tray design, this will not be on the desk, we'll do it on the floor. We'll screw the drive in, and then we'll screw the... come on, words, PCI card in. Nice one. So here's my PowerMac G3, guys. Let me turn the screen around again. Always forget to do that before pressing record. Anyway, here it is. Let's open her up so that you can see the inside. Now then, you can see pretty much all the important stuff that you need to see. Gigabyte of RAM, 400 MHz CPU, PowerPC G3 obviously. Here we have a boom 9200 ATI Radeon 9200 128 megs of VRAM. This is a USB card. Now I did not install this USB card, so I believe it's just probably a USB 1.1 card. I doubt it's 2.0 because there's only 2 ports. It doesn't look like anything I've ever installed before. And then we have what looks to be like a modem card or something similar. I believe it is anyway. Yeah, doesn't No, I don't think it's an Ethernet card, but it could be. I can't tell by the size of the port, so I'm always really bad at eyeballing that kind of thing. And then here we have the drives back here. Now what I'm going to do is, even though we have two other drive cages down here that you can screw drives to, I don't actually have a free set of screws, and I don't think screws are provided. So what we're going to do is just remove the entire hard drive cage from here at the moment. So let's take out the IDE cable, take out the power cables for these drives, and we are going to remove the OS 9 drive, keeping the OS 10 drive in there. So if I grab my screwdriver, removing and installing drives on the G3, extremely simple process. There's only a single screw to the entire cage. However, my screw seems... Ah, yes, I remember now. My screw is completely buggered, so it is a challenge. But if your screw is not buggered, then it isn't too bad. Yes, yeah. Well guys, that was an interesting development. I have now discovered that I cannot remove those hard drives, at least very easily. So, all I'm going to do is remove another, if I can, little hard drive bracket thingy. This will be an interesting development now. There we go, that screw is not completely knackered. Let me have this. Come on. Here we go. Here's a flat PowerMac hard drive bracket. Only difference between this and the primary one is the fact that you don't have the side, you know, you can only get one disc on each bracket. So, we will move this out of the way. And we will get this drive here. Now the bracket goes into the system like so. So the drive will go onto the bracket like so. All I need to do is locate some drive screws, which will not be too difficult, hopefully. Well, delving around in the hard drive box has been beneficial for lots of different reasons today. Let's just hope the drive works. I have found two hard drive screws, one on each of these Maxtor IDE drives, which is really handy. So we will proceed to unscrew these screws. I'll only need two screws to hold in this bracket for now. Anything more permanent I use my PowerMac for, and then I will rethink my options. But you know, let's hope these screws... Hang on a second. There's a sort of plastic thing on the bottom of this drive. I could use these screws. Yeah, okay, so that should work. If I put this screw back in this side of this drive, at least I'll have two screws on this drive, and I know if I ever need them, I can use them. It'd be interesting to see how things turn out. So... Okay, so there's those four screws off. Let's take that plastic thing off. Might keep that, looks pretty damn cool. Anyway, yeah, at least we know the thread size is the right size for a hard drive now. Let's just check that we're doing everything the right way. Screw hole there, connectors there. Yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely. Boom. Should be extremely easy. Wonderful. Took me a little while, a little bit fiddly. However, we have the four screws in. One screw is a little bit weird, but this drive is now attached to the little drive sled thing, and it's all looking very good. So let's drag the system back over. Like so. And just to give you a bit of the close-up of the drive bays, I've changed the angle a bit. So let's slide this in. This G3 is going to look pretty damn impressive with three drives in it. Hey guys, 2 ports on this SATA card. Be absolutely ace if I got an SSD in this bay with a little adapter. It would just look so beast in here. Anyway, oh, I've got a loose screw here now. I don't know where it came from. Whatever. let's screw this back in. Hope I don't get similar troubles with this like I did with the other side. Screwing it back in. These have always been tricky. I even remember on my Quicksilver screwing these back in properly was tricky, but this one appears perfect. That's in and that's not going anywhere. So first thing we're going to do is just connect all of the cabling to these drives. So Molex into both of our IDE drives. And because this drive is special, this SATA drive, it will allow us to put Molex into that as well. So, that is very nice. Very nice touch indeed. If we can get this in, there we go. Next things next, we need to attach our IDE cable. Hope you can see all this. Let's bring you down slightly. There you go. Awesome. Professional Tom Smith on the YouTube camera controller yet again. Not. Yeah, so this way. So we now have 3 drives in this computer, which is lovely. That's my OS 9 drive plugged in. That's my OS 10 drive plugged in. And that is both the IDE drives plugged in to the motherboard. Now then, we are going to attach this one remaining Molex connector to the new drive, and that snapped into place perfectly. So that's both the drives powered up, or 3 of the drives powered up, sorry. 2 of the IDE drives with data. SATA is now waiting for data. Now in order to do that, we need to free up a bit of a PCI slot. Let me try and get a good angle on this. Now then, we are going to take out this weird modem type card that I don't quite know what it is. Got a spare screw here that I need to keep safe somewhere. Anyway, where's my screwdriver? Here it is. So we're going to remove this card, leaving the USB card in. Because, oh damn it, that's the USB card. Damn it all. We are actually going to move a few things around, so I'm going to leave that, yeah, I'm going to leave that out. Just because I don't think the door will close with the big SATA bulky cables and stuff hanging out the end of that card and whatnot. So we're going to have a bit of a jiggery pokery. Let's take out this card. Some kind of, I don't know what the hell this is. It's got like modem jacks on it, but it's also got like audio jacks on it. It's really confusing. I've just had a closer look with the magnifying glass. It says mic input / line input, speaker output, and there's 2 phone connections. So, fairly interesting card. I'll keep that somewhere safe. I'm not going to put it back in the system though, because my audio that's built in works fine. We're going to shift this USB card up one, closer to the graphics card. Just for space reasons. That bracket can pop out. Let's get a hold of this. Ooh, man, that's been in there a while. Man, that really has been in there a while. Come on. Here we go. We got it. Okay, so here's very bent. Damn it. Cheap PCI cards. Very bent USB card. Let me have a closer look at the information. It doesn't say anything about 2.0 or whatever. So we'll just plop it back in where I wanted to plop it back in. It can go right in there next to the graphics card. As I break all sorts of things probably. Actually, do you know what? I don't use it. I don't care. That's stressing me out. It's bent and it seems really crappy. That's crappy. Taking it out. Not happy. Yeah, where was I going with this? Ah yes, the icing on the cake. Let me grab it. Hey, here it is. The SATA card. This is gonna look gorgeous. Let me just get the scissors. Well guys, that was really interesting. I hadn't realised this, but someone has drilled a hole in the back of the card, as you can see, and the SATA cables were fed through it. So this has actually been used in its past life as a, how could you say it, sort of eSATA type card, I guess. You know, with people wanting some SATA cables coming out of their machine, you know, which is, I guess, something that, you know, would be quite handy. But, you know, it would be quicker and more sort of natural doing it that way than getting one of those USB docks or whatever, you know, USB hard drive docks, because obviously then they're limited by the speed of USB. It's not so much of a problem these days, what with USB 3.0 and all. However, if they had this card, then I assume they had an older Mac. Then there's pretty much no possible way of getting USB 3.0 on these things at all. It's just not happening. It's hard enough to get USB 3.0 working on a Mac Pro. So I haven't even bothered looking into it with this system, because I assume that all USB 3.0 cards use PCIe slots, of course, which weren't around when this system was out, as we all know. So there we have it. I ended up putting the USB card back in just because I didn't want a hole in the back of the system. I bent the bracket back into shape, put it back in, and now here we have our two SATA connectors, one for our hard drive, and if SSDs ever come a little bit more down in price, one for an SSD as well. Or I might just get a cheapo SSD and experiment with that. Or steal one from another one of my builds or something. Not that this is one of my builds, it's just I could indeed steal one from a build. Anyway, let's get this SATA cable plugged in, which is proving to be a little bit more difficult than expected. Because I can't see what I'm actually doing. Let's get it plugged in and then tidy stuff up, it'll be easier. There we go, come on. Now is that hinge going to close with that there? I suppose so. Anyway, only one way to find out. Let's get all that on top of there. That pushed under there. That's plugged into the drive. Drive's got power. Everything's looking great. Okay, let's close it up. Boom, and it closes. That's exactly what we wanted. Let's get it all plugged back in. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am personally really excited about getting this fired up and seeing how fast it performs. This video has been quite a bit longer than I expected, but that isn't always a bad thing. Let's move some of this junk off my desk. And let's lift this G3 back onto the desk. It really looks like it would never fit there, but obviously it does. Oh, Jesus. There's that. Time to cable it back up. Now I'm not going to attach my GameCube and stuff to the top, just going to make sure this works first, because we may have to change the hard drive or something similar. Well guys, check this out. We have 3 discs showing up. Here we have a disc called Untitled. Let's just go into it, and it's full of stuff. Ah look, Windows install. Sweet. Sorry about that guys, SD card got a little bit full. Anyway, I've got 11 minutes left on my SD card, and that should be plenty of time to complete this video. So, what we have here is the score for my drive that I'm running on now, my internal drive, okay? Now this isn't going to be entirely fair because I'm not running the OS off of this drive yet. That'll be in the next video, the next PowerMac G3 related video anyway. But for sequential, we had 21.44, and for random, we had 5.57. Now what we're going to do is run the same test again. So I'm going to drag this over to the second display to keep it there so it refreshes our memory. And I'm also going to rename this to IDE disk score. Okay, just so we know. We're going to all stay organised, and you guys can see that I'm not doing anything wrong. You're going to see every click on the screen. I'll zoom in to make sure you can see. Yeah, so you guys know exactly what I'm doing. So here we have the Western Digital 80GB SATA drive. Here it is. We're going to go to Arrays, and we are going to go to Mac OS X Extended Journal. We don't want to install the Mac OS 9 driver. We simply want to call this SATA disk. Or should we call it something funky? No, we'll just call it SATA. I'm not in one of those adventurous moods to call anything exciting. So this is erasing. You can see the progress right here. Partitioning at the moment, and that is erased. It's created. So we have a SATA disk. Just to prove that it works, we will drag this picture over to SATA. It's transferred, and there it is in the disk. Okay. We could copy anything else. We could go to Applications, and we could grab, I don't know, something small. We could just try and copy over, oh, I don't know, this really crappy app that I downloaded called Disk Speed Bench X, which is really terrible. Let's copy that over, and that's copied over, okay? So you can tell it works. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we are going to open up Xbench, and we want to run a benchmark test. Now we only want to run a disk test, but we want to run it on our SATA disk. So here's SATA, and this is a disk test. We have the other results right here, so it'll be extremely interesting to see the results of this disk. I'm really looking forward. Start. Now while this is doing its thing, I'm just going to collapse system info. But yeah, we're going to leave that run for now, then we're going to compare the scores. So while it's doing this, I just want to remind everyone that this SATA disk is a random disk that I bought in a car boot sale. I think it was somewhere between £3 and £5. It's a Western Digital drive. I believe it's an original SATA Revision 1 drive. It's 80GB in capacity, so it is nowhere near the fastest SATA drive you could put in here at all. It's a random SATA drive that I got, but it is leaps and bounds overhead, unless I think it's going to be. It is leaps and bounds ahead of any IDE drive that I could put into this system, I believe. So this is going to be really, really interesting to see the results. It is doing the test a lot quicker than the other one. So before I even look at the results, I'm looking at the screen through hazy eyes. I'm going to wait for it to complete the test. There we go, the test is completed, and I'm going to screenshot it, and I'm going to quit Xbench. We don't want to save. So we have our IDE disk score. And we're going to call this SATA, hang on a sec, my arm's the wrong side of the tripod, disk score. Okay, so what we're going to do is bring the IDE one over here, and we're going to bring the SATA one, and we're going to open that and bring it over here. So let's look at sequential. We went from 21.44 all the way up to 51.96. That is one hell of an increase. And then for random, our overall score went from 5.57 up to 41.94. You can see how much of a quicker interface this is. This is absolutely crazy. So for some numbers then, we've got 9.11, 9.46, not 8.47, 20.27 a second. Okay, let's go over. And this absolutely nails it. Nearly 30, nearly 30. 10, 55. Same down here. Let's have a look at the random on here. 0.17, 5.91, 0.39, 12.39. Okay. Look, this just crushes it. 1.66, 24.78, 0.64, and 24.07. This is absolutely fantastic. That is one fantastic upgrade. Now, we are still currently running the operating system from this drive, the macOS 10 IDE drive. But if you would like to see me install and run an operating system off of this drive, please join me in the next couple of videos. I don't know if it's going to be the next video, but it'll certainly be the next Power Mac G3 based video in the next few weeks, where I will install macOS 10 Tiger, the exact same version, update it all onto the SATA drive, and then we'll boot from the IDE drive, boot from the SATA drive, and compare boot speeds, and then we'll open some applications, compare launch speeds, and see if these benchmarks translate into better real-life performance, which I really think they will. I've got a big hunch. So my G3 is getting pretty kitted out. It now has a SATA card, a SATA hard drive, a fully maxed out 1GB of RAM. It has a DVD burner for whatever that's worth, and it also has an ATI Radeon 9200 graphics card with 128MB of RAM, which is pretty much the best card you can put in the system, allowing me to play some much more complex games on this system than was originally intended. So Xbench, great tool. I'm going to get rid of the other one, and I'm going to keep these results and G3 SATA upgrade results. And that will be a nice file to keep so that I can look back on that and indeed enjoy seeing the improvement of performance that I got on my beloved Power Mac G3. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I have now got a lot of importing to do as far as clips goes, quite a bit of editing to do because this is my longest video in a long time. This will be out a day or two after I've filmed. It's the second day. It should be out on the 3rd or 4th. Anyway, I've got to tidy my room. I've got to edit this video. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. A very successful upgrade. Not the easiest. I did have a couple of little problems, but nothing major at all. All 3 discs are recognised, and that's exactly what I wanted. So thanks again for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next video.